What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Trev, and I'm back with another video. I hope you guys are noticing the new background. I'm in the middle of a move, so I had to move my setup to the front of my apartment because, I'm in the process of making some new moves. I'm not going to tell you guys these moves yet, but when they happen, they happen. And, I'm going to have, in my new apartment, when I get it, I'm going to have a better studio, a better setup, and we're going to do some different type of videos. Like, we making big video moves. We're making major moves out here. But, that's not the point of today's video. Today's video, I basically got inspired to make this video because I was going through like my Snapchat, and usually I don't really go on social media or anything like that. But I was going through my Snapchat and I saw like a lot of my friends from Rutgers, they were going to like the strikes and the protests at the university. And I was a little bit interested in like I was following the story. Like I was following the story because I am an alumni of Rutgers University. So I was following the story closely, but I wasn't too actively involved in the story because, I'm to the point in life where I'm out of the college kind of cycle. So I don't necessarily pay attention to things in college unless it pertains to me as an alumni, or it's just like my friends are just talking about it or discussing it. But I was basically learning about the strikes and the protests, and I wanted to give my thoughts as an alumni because I feel like I have an interesting perspective when it comes to talking about the strikes and the protests because, I have two types of experiences that can kind of help people have a sort of understanding of what's going on, because a lot of things are out about the strikes and the protests, and I feel like a lot of misinformation and a lot of differing opinions about what's going on is going on. So, I kind of wanted to play like the devil's advocate and kind of explain to people, what kind of is going on, my opinion on it, and, the perspectives of both sides, because, usually with big cases like this, when it comes to people and getting paid or being treated better by companies, I have a lot of expertise with this, and I can give things in a fair and kind of non-biased kind of way. So, I wanted to discuss the strikes because, I did my research on it. I waited a while to make this video because I'm really passionate about my home school, and, I really wanted to give things in a fair perspective. So I'm going to get into that. So, perspective number one, I'm going to talk about my experience as a Rutgers University former student because, a lot of things, I feel like that perspective, right, can explain a lot of things and why people feel the way they do. Because, when I was going to Rutgers, I was like a different person. I was a little more liberal per se. And, I was a little more liberal, but as I moved to Florida, and a lot of different experiences happened from 2020 on, I've leaned more right, but I'm sort of in the middle. Like, I don't subscribe to the liberal ideology. I don't subscribe to the Republican ideology. So I'm just going to give you guys my experience. When I was a student there, I was a little more liberal because, if you have that perspective, you can understand what people are going through. Because a lot of people, like Rutgers is a very diverse school, very like liberal kind of school, and it's very free and open. And, I'll give them credit for that. A lot of these protests, they take place on the campus and it's very free, and the university is very like, they don't dismiss things because they don't like things. Because, one thing I'll critique about being more conservative is they don't like change. They don't like change. They like things the way they are and they're traditional. And if you were in a place like Florida, someone like Governor DeSantis, they would say, oh, no, this is banned from my campus. You can't do this. And, I don't really like that because it shows a sort of softness and an unwillingness to kind of have a different perspective. So, as a student, when I was going there, it was a free school. A lot of the things that went on in the school, it was very free, very open. I never felt like isolated or anything as a black person. And, I just felt very welcomed. A lot of the people who work at Rutgers are very friendly. They do a great job of cleaning up the university, and they're just all around very friendly people. And, a lot of people, what they don't understand, especially if they're in college, is a lot of these people, they have to get paid. They have to get paid because you can't work for free in this world. And, they have to be treated equally because, they have families, they have lives too. So I can kind of understand their perspective because they do a really good job. And, as you go through America, the cost of living is rising. So these people need to be taken care of so things can be held to a certain standard. So, I definitely like empathize with the workers and the graduates and the graduate assistants and the professors and the adjacent professors, because they do a good job for the university, and I feel like they should be compensated for sure. But I just want to give my perspective, because when I was there, I noticed that they do deserve these things they're complaining about, so it's very justified. And I wanted to give another sort of perspective, which is the perspective of the university, because I worked in the corporate field, so I understand the business ins and outs. So I can describe to you that the school, they want to, the purpose of a university or a business or anything public is to make money. So, if they can make money in any way, they will. And then they do a lot of data and statistics, and they feel like, oh, we owe these people this much because they do that. But one thing about that is you got to understand, in the business world, it's all about the almighty dollar. So, you may protest to them and want certain things, but at the end of the day, they have a bottom line, they have quotas to meet, and they want to make their money. So they don't really deal in the world of, oh, this is that. They deal more in data and facts and statistics. And that's a good thing to be like interested in, and a good thing to work with, because we all should be based in facts and reality. But we overlook the human aspect when we do that. But I can definitely understand the business portion, because at the end of the day, the university wants to make money so they can keep providing for these services and things they offer with their great university. So I just want to give you guys that the perspective of both, and sort of understand that if they have to come to a compromise, they have to reach the compromise by finding a nice middle ground. And now I kind of want to give my opinion now that I laid those facts out there. And I'm more on the side of the strikers, because I feel like a lot of these universities, these corporations, they make a lot of money, and they don't necessarily provide the students the resources they need to survive in the real world. And for me personally, Rutgers has done a lot for my career as a business person, because they taught me a lot of the foundational skills that I brought into the real world. But a lot of that stuff they taught me, I use it effectively, but a lot of that's just me applying myself. And I give credit to Rutgers. They gave me the platform, but I took the initiative to go forward. And they never really gave me a means to survive, but they gave me a means to educate myself and to be more effective in the real world. But they had nothing to do with my cost of living. They had nothing to do with making sure, I make money here and there. And, there's just a whole process of things that happened in 2020. And, the university and universities in general, they were going through a lot. So, I'm more on the side of the strikers, because, I feel like when people work, they should be compensated. And, I feel like they should be paid a living wage so that they can survive, because that's how we keep things rolling in the economy. And if we don't provide those basic things, it's over. But saying that, I'm just going to play devil's advocate again and give another thing in my opinion. Since living in like a conservative state, like I've learned that, some of these things that go on with the protesters, I don't agree with necessarily either, because I agree with them, that they should be treated well, but I also don't really agree with doing drag shows and things like that, because I feel like that defeats the purpose and makes people look like, oh, look at these liberals doing this stuff that we don't agree with. This is why we don't give them what they want. And, that's a lot of what society will say. And, that's just my critiques on it. And I'm looking at it from my perspective and the public perspective. But, that's just my thoughts on it. And I hope everything comes full circle and they reach a conclusion where both sides are satisfied, because Rutgers is a great university. And I feel like, they could find the middle ground and make Rutgers way better. But, that's my thoughts on it as an alumni. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I know this is a different type of video, but I just kind of wanted to discuss it because, it relates close to my heart, and I like my home university and I like my home state. But, like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you guys think about the Rutgers situation.